Let's bring into this conversation the Republican governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan. Yesterday, Governor Hogan announced new vaccination protocols for state employees. Effective September 1st, employees in 48 state facilities will be required to show proof of vaccination or to adhere to strict face covering requirements and submit to regular ongoing COVID-19 testing. Governor Hogan, good morning. Thanks for being with us. So explain this decision.
Morning. Well, look, this Delta variant is something that we're very, very concerned about here in our state, in spite of the fact that we're one of the most vaccinated states in America and have some of the lowest metrics and virus numbers. Just about the opposite of all the things you've been talking about this morning. We're doing great. But this Delta variant is 2 to 4 times more contagious, and it's potentially more serious, more dangerous, more serious illness comes from it. And so we took actions to protect folks in congregate living facilities. So the folks that work in our prison system, that work with our veterans and our nursing homes, retirement. We're taking care of kids in juvenile justice systems and all of our public health, the state of Maryland's health department facilities. And because we've done great, we're 76% of our state, everybody over 18 has been vaccinated, 94% of our seniors. But this variant is pretty scary stuff, and it's spreading like wildfire across the rest of the country where they haven't vaccinated as well as we have.
So this is a pretty strong move, and it raises a question about schools. There's been resistance from governors, Republican governors in particular, about mask mandates in schools. There's been talk about requiring vaccinations for teachers to be back inside schools. Do you believe that's a step that you should consider, vaccinating teachers, requiring that teachers be vaccinated?
Well, we were the first state in the country to begin vaccinating teachers. We did it back in January, and most of our teachers are vaccinated. Our local school systems are duly elected in each county, and they have the right to make decisions. We're going to make sure we get all of our kids back in school. One part of that was getting all the teachers vaccinated. The other, some of those school systems have made the decision to require masks, and we support their ability to make those decisions based on the metrics on the ground in their particular jurisdiction.
Hey, Governor Hogan, good morning. It's John Flemire. I want to stay on the topic of masks. You just mentioned schools. But where are things now in terms of potential mask requirements or restrictions for other things, like, say, indoor dining or gyms or indoor entertainment? Give us, we're seeing a fierce debate about all those things in states across the country with very different outcomes. Where do things stand in Maryland?
Well, the good news is here in Maryland, because we're so vaccinated, the virus is not spreading like the rest of the country. You were talking earlier about Florida, which had 21,800 cases in a day, and we had 500. They've got 10,000 people in the hospital. We have 300. So we're in a different spot than a lot of states, but we lifted our mask mandate back in May because our health metrics are so good, among the best in the country. But we're strongly recommending and urging people who are unvaccinated to wear masks indoors and in any settings where they can't distance. 100% of our hospitalizations and deaths at this point are people who have refused to take the vaccine.
You know, a couple of years ago, Governor Hogan, you launched a national effort to improve infrastructure across this country. And you're also the national chair of the No Labels organization, which is getting behind the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And No Labels is out with a new ad that argues that the American people should ignore extremes on both sides of the aisle and help pass a bill. Let's take a quick look at the ad, and then I want to talk to you about it.
We've seen this movie before. No, not those movies. This one.
We will not support bipartisan legislation.
I'm telling the Republican senators that we're not going to stand for it.
The extremes on the left and right are trying to defeat a two-party solution for partisan purposes. 3 out of 4 Americans agree on the infrastructure bill that creates jobs, helps families, doesn't raise taxes, and powers America to beat China. Don't listen to the extremes. Support bipartisan infrastructure now.
There's a number in there, Governor Hogan, 72%. And my gosh, most polls I've seen show that an overwhelming number of Americans support this bipartisan infrastructure bill, Joe Biden's infrastructure plan. And yet you're still hearing people on both sides saying, kill the bill. Why should those voices be ignored? And why should we push through and pass a bipartisan bill?
Well, look, this is something that Republicans and Democrats have talked about really for decades without ever accomplishing anything. And we all know that with all the dysfunction and divisiveness in Washington, rarely ever do we find bipartisan compromise on an important issue. And on this one we have. No Labels didn't just get behind this effort. We actually started the effort and crafted the current proposal that's about to be passed in the Senate. Right here at the governor's mansion in Annapolis, we brought, for the first time, unprecedented, Republican and Democratic governors, senators, congressmen, and hammered out the basis of this deal. No Labels, the Problem Solvers Caucus, which is a part of our group. From the center, we got Democrats and Republicans trying to come up with a solution, and now it's about to pass. And, of course, you've got Donald Trump saying to blow it up, that they shouldn't vote for it because he didn't accomplish anything on infrastructure for 4 years. And you got the far left saying, well, we didn't get everything we wanted. Well, that's not what compromise is about. It's about trying to find that middle ground where we can all reach agreement. And amazingly, we have. And we just got to get it done. I'm hopeful that it's going to pass the Senate tomorrow.
Governor, we also have a police reform bill out there, several other bills that Republicans and Democrats are working together on. Is there a reason for us to be hopeful that Congress might start getting some things done for the American people, that Democrats and Republicans may figure out a way in Washington to work together again?
Well, Joe, I sure hope so. I mean, it's desperately needed. Washington is broken. I think an overwhelming majority of Americans are not happy with things not getting done, with the extremes of both sides simply, calling each other names and fighting all the time. That's why I took over as the chairman of No Labels. It's why I've been focused on bipartisan solutions, common sense solutions. And we've got a great group of senators and congressmen that are part of the problem solvers that are working hard on this. And I'm hoping the infrastructure bill, let's get that done and show to them that things actually can get done in Washington, and maybe we'll tackle some of the other issues where we can find people. I mean, I can tell you the two caucuses don't like the fact that Republicans and Democrats are sitting down together and talking. They want to control their members. But I think this is the way, our democratic republic is supposed to work. And I think it's what the American people want. They want us to work together and get things done.
All right, Governor Larry Hogan, thank you so much, first of all, for your work on infrastructure over the past several years and pushing for this initiative, and also, obviously, your work on trying to achieve a bipartisan compromise. We appreciate you being here this morning.